Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're unraveling what I can only describe as a pretty shocking medical mystery about your nighttime routine. We've got some fascinating and honestly totally eye-opening medical data to look at that's probably going to completely change how you view those late-night trips to the kitchen.
Let's just jump right in with a super simple question. Do you ever grab a handful of nuts right before bed thinking, hey, I'm doing my brain and my heart a solid favor here? Maybe a few walnuts, some almonds, or a handful of pistachios. It's a really common habit, right? Because we've been told forever that nuts are this perfect, natural superfood. So logic kind of tells us that a small, healthy snack before hitting the hay must be great for us.
Well, the medical data actually completely flips that belief on its head. A preventative cardiology expert hit the nail on the head with this quote. They said, "A good habit at the wrong time has entirely different, dangerous consequences inside the body." So what does this all mean? Basically, eating these super healthy, high-fat foods right before you go to sleep is actually putting this intense, silent strain on your blood vessels. It literally takes a superfood and turns it into a silent poison. Crazy, right?
It all really boils down to a massive biological clash inside your body. See, during the day, your metabolism is firing on all cylinders. When you eat nuts, those rich lipids just burn up instantly as fuel. Your blood flows freely and your brain is sharp. But when the sun goes down, your parasympathetic nervous system takes the wheel. Your body enters rest and repair mode, and digestion practically slows to a crawl. So if you dump dense, high-fat foods into your system right then, that processing pace just plummets, and your blood actually begins to physically thicken.
And this biological mismatch creates three major hidden dangers if you're a late-night snacker. First up, that metabolic drop means it takes way longer to process fats, making your blood kind of sludgy and heavy. Second, we see these wild swings in your autonomic nervous system. If those nuts happen to be salted or honey roasted, boom, that late-night sodium and sugar completely disrupts your heart rhythms while you're trying to sleep. And third is sleep interference. Instead of getting that deep, restorative recovery, your body's working overtime digesting food.
Section 2. Real people, real consequences. To really wrap our heads around how serious this biological mismatch is, let's step away from the theory for a second and look at the actual real-world consequences experienced by real patients.
Take our first case, which is actually the doctor's own father. This was a highly health-conscious guy who firmly believed that walnuts and warm milk before bed was the secret to protecting his memory. But instead, he literally collapsed one morning from a massive, temporary strain on his heart and brain vessels, all triggered by that exact nightly habit. Then there's Tanaka, a 62-year-old who loved a nice, high-fat pecan cake after dinner. He actually collapsed in his bathroom with small blood clots in his brain, which doctors directly linked to that nighttime blood thickening.
And guys, the data just keeps stacking up. We have Sato, 68, who developed severe arrhythmia and angina from his nightly walnut reading habit. Then there's Yamada, 70. He drank pine nuts in hot water, which led to omega-6-induced blood pressure spikes that actually landed him in the hospital. And Matsumoto, 66, who was just casually munching on salted pistachios while watching TV. That triggered such intense heart palpitations that he couldn't even sleep. The sodium caused his resting blood pressure to spike dramatically.
Okay, so the absolute most crucial takeaway here is that the villain is not the nuts themselves. Nuts are undisputed superfoods. They're packed with vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, the whole shebang. The villain here is timing. When you eat them at night, you're actively fighting against your body's natural circadian rhythm. It's like a slight shift in the clock turns what should be a protective shield into a really dangerous burden.
Section 3. 7 foods to avoid at night. Now that we know timing is the real culprit here, let's explore what else we might be getting wrong and look at the top triggers for nighttime cardiovascular risk.
Coming in at number 1, salty fermented foods like kimchi or a late-night bowl of miso soup. Now yes, they're healthy, but that high salt content forces your body to hold on to water, dangerously spiking your blood pressure while you sleep. Number 2 is fried or high-fat foods. These take hours and hours to digest, elevating your triglycerides and thickening up the blood right when your body is trying to rest. And number 3, ramen. I know it hurts to hear, but it is the ultimate disaster of salt, fat, and carbs. Eating a bowl of ramen after 9 p.m. wrecks your cardiovascular stability well into the next morning. Continuing our list, number 4 is sweet yogurt or ice cream. That sugar hit creates a glucose spike and crash, which basically throws your autonomic nervous system into total chaos and ruins your sleep quality. Number 5, processed meats, so things like bacon or ham. These sodium nitrites and heavy fats put a massive amount of stress on a resting heart.
Number 6 is a real classic, alcohol mixed with salted nuts. This is a brutal double punch to your blood pressure. And finally, number 7, post-dinner desserts. Eating right after a heavy meal just forces your stomach into overdrive, and that leads to acid reflux and, you guessed it, a terrible night's sleep.
Section 4, the daytime solution and small steps. Okay, I know that probably sounded like a whole lot of bad news, especially if your absolute favorite late-night snack was just called out on that list. But don't worry, fortunately there is a highly actionable, super hopeful solution to protect your biological clock. And the best part, you don't even have to give up the foods you love. The solution is brilliantly simple. Just shift the timeline. Simply by moving your nut intake to, say, your morning oatmeal, or maybe tossing them into a lunchtime salad, you're perfectly aligning with your body's active metabolic state. Those fats are instantly used up as brain energy and fuel, and they become your protective superfood all over again. But at night, as we've clearly seen, those exact same fats are a strict hard pass.
Now, you might be wondering, but what if I'm genuinely actually hungry at night? Look, if it's past 9 p.m. and your stomach is seriously rumbling, you need to reach for foods that digest quickly and won't spike your blood pressure. Your absolute safest bets here are a small cup of warm, unsweetened milk, maybe some soft-boiled vegetables like pumpkin or broccoli, a single boiled egg, or just one piece of fruit like a banana or an apple. These are going to satisfy that hunger without declaring total war on your cardiovascular system.
Also, let's be honest, sometimes late-night snacking isn't even about hunger at all, right? It's just a habit. You're watching TV and you just want something to munch on. To break that cycle, try these replacement strategies. Step 1. When that craving hits, just drink a glass of room-temperature water. Step 2. Swap the physical act of snacking for sipping some warm herbal tea. It gives your hands and mouth something to do. And Step 3. If you still feel the urge, do just 3 minutes of deep breathing or light stretching. Breaking that physical loop is literally half the battle. Number 3. So, to summarize everything we've uncovered in today's explainer, it really all boils down to 3 golden rules that you've got to remember to save your cardiovascular health. Let's walk through them. Rule 1. Absolutely no solid foods after 9 p.m. You really need to give your digestive system the rest it desperately needs. Rule 2. If you absolutely must have something, satisfy that late hunger with warm, light liquids or those highly digestible alternatives we just talked about. And Rule 3. Match your meals to your body's natural rhythm. So you want a heavy, fuel-rich morning, a nice balanced noon to keep you going, and a very light night to prep your body for repair.
And hey, you don't have to overhaul your entire life today. Just start with these 4 little baby steps tonight. Step 1. Take that bag of nuts and literally put it right next to your breakfast cereal so it's there for tomorrow. Step 2. Swap out tonight's usual heavy snack for just a single piece of fruit. Step 3. Consciously try to reduce the salt at dinner so your blood pressure stays nice and level. And Step 4. Try that 9 p.m. cutoff for just 3 days a week. It doesn't have to be every day. Small, manageable changes are what actually lead to massive long-term health benefits.
I want to leave you with this final thought to really ponder. We now know, through hard medical evidence, that it's not just what you eat, but when you eat it. The timing of your next late-night bite literally dictates your blood pressure, your sleep quality, and your long-term cardiovascular health. So knowing that tonight's choice shapes tomorrow's reality, what will you choose to eat tonight? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and here's to making choices that work with our bodies, not against them. Catch you next time.